morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I got to everybody. Tracy, you're the last one. Although it did hi dot Tracy, sorry, but hi Tracy. Hi Vicky. You're popping in here too. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, July 7th. So we are like candidly, how did we get from last week, like it didn't feel like July yet, to here already being 1 week fully into it? Okay, well, now that I think about it, that sounds silly because, of course, last week was, a week ago. But anyway, point is, it just seemed like everything just went so fast. The fourth came and went so fast. Sorry, just trying to get situated here. Yeah, there was a lot going on. A lot's happened in this bit of time. By the way, I've had some sweet messages from some of you already this morning. Susan and Jane have popped in. A few people have popped in already. Wilderness Explorer, Vicky, Susie Q, Lori. Oh, wow. Greetings from, hold on, glasses. Let me just go put them on. Oh, speaking of glasses, I have to tell you a story. Lori, good morning, everyone. Greetings from north of Germany on the Baltic Sea. Wow, that's amazing. You guys are so awesome. Amy, okay, I love you guys. You are like, well, you are my extended family. Amy's just going to go ahead and chime in. She's going to say, please like and subscribe. So, of course, that's not going to hurt my heart at all. Feel free to do that. Pam, your hair looks so pretty. Okay, I have to figure out why everyone says it looks pretty. I think it's because it's a tragedy in the morning. And I just put a quick curling iron on it before we get started. So I don't know, but thank you. You guys are so cute. Love it, love it, love it. Good morning, Daryl. Hey, beautiful friend. You're so sweet. And hopefully Jen's around somewhere. If not, give her a big hug for me later. Oh, Sydney, you missed me. I was after Jake. Oh, Sydney, did I miss you? Sydney, hold on. Let me type Sydney. I cannot forget Sydney. Hi, CYD, DNEY, and VA. Hold on, VALEN. It's not as easy to do it when you're live. Okay. Did I get it? Did I get it? Yes, I did it. I'm sorry, Sydney. You know I would never forget you. Certainly not intentionally. Oh, my goodness. Gary, good morning as well. All right. Anybody that I may have missed, you guys are popping in. Good morning. Thanks for whatever reason, again, on Monday morning, sharing a little bit of time with me. I always want to say with us. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I appreciate it so much. Sundays are, well, it's a lot. Usually Sunday was the day to get everything ready for coffee time. Alyssa got most everything ready yesterday. She may have even done it a little bit early. I'm not sure, but it's funny how it just pops up. It's like as soon as we finish coffee time, the week starts, it goes crazy. And then all of a sudden things are happening real estate wise. I've got a client, there's a story, there's something I want to share. This is happening. Got this message from a builder, whatever the case is. And it's like, oh, coffee time. Oh, put that on the coffee time list. So I have like a little running list of like coffee time topics or things that would be a good, thing to mention or a thing to share. And then all of a sudden, boom, here we are again. It's already coffee time again. So good morning to you. And on that note, hold on, let me coffee mug for the day. Isn't she beautiful? This is a big, beautiful blue mug. I love it. I love the different swirls of the blue in it. I love it. It's just a nice, pretty mug. But just candidly, I also have, like, I'm going full force. Like, we're pulling everything out. I have my Diet Coke, freshly opened, by the way. Still has the condensation on it. Yep. So we have the coffee, we have the Diet Coke, and I have my new little treat to myself. This is, I have to tell you this story, and I haven't painted my nails, so sorry. So I found, okay, so I used to love back home in Virginia where we had our house when the kids were growing up, when Eric and I were starting our family. There was this Hallmark store that was right around the corner. Hallmark, like Hallmark movies, Hallmark ornaments, Hallmark greeting cards. There was a store there, and I loved to go there. It was a great place. I would just go. I would just kind of wander, just kind of a place to go if you had a few extra minutes. Back home, it was located right next to, I think it was right in the same shopping center as the Food Lion, which is a grocery store. And so sometimes, it was always convenient to kind of go over and pop in. I also remember going there with the kids all the time and having them pick out their Hallmark ornaments for Christmas. But I was out the other day and randomly I was out heading to an appointment, and I saw a Hallmark store off to the side, and I was like, I didn't know there was a Hallmark store anywhere near here. So I took the time. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go pop into the Hallmark store. So I did. So true story. I'm wandering around and, wandering around sometimes when you're left to yourself and to your own thoughts. I was trying not to get in my head. I was trying to enjoy myself. I was trying to provide myself a moment to escape and to just browse and to breathe. But everything kept triggering me. Like everything was like, oh, there's all Hallmark ornaments. I can't look at them. Can't look at them. Oh, there's leftover Father's Day stuff. Can't look at it. Can't look at it. Here's baptism and Christmas or a christening and all of those types of like picture frames. And everything was a trigger point. And then I got to Pooh Bear. And then they had a whole big Winnie the Pooh display. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm doing better with drinking more water. So I fill this up with good cold ice water. And this is, of course, as soon as I saw you, I knew an adventure was going to happen. So, of course, that's Pooh and Piglet. Love this, love this, love this. But here's the thing. I went back to the Hallmark store and I happened to come across this. All right, now don't laugh, but these are my real glasses. These are the ones that are the most recent prescription. And they broke right before I moved out and closed on the house in Winter Garden. So they broke and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? These are like the most recent ones. I don't have, time to go order another pair. I think Eric and I put our prescriptions in the Zinni website, but I think that's on his computer. And I don't know the login and I don't know if it's the most recent prescription. So I was like, forget it. I'm just going to throw these in the side pocket of the car and I'll just deal with it when I deal with it, whatever, I'll figure it out. So then when I saw this, I was like, well, maybe I can fix them. Maybe. I'm not usually a fixer, right? My grandmother always said, if it's not broke, don't fix it, which I agree with 100%. But conversely, if it's broke, then fix it, right? So anyway, I fixed it. I'm so proud of myself. By the way, I know it sounds horrible. I feel completely fine. There's just this residual nastiness, which now you can see why 2 weeks ago when I didn't have coffee time, it was worse. It was just constant. So if I get in a little a coughing spree or a choking spree, okay, or here to be known for as coking spree. I've got my water, I've got my Diet Coke, and I've got my coffee, and I'm going to get moving on here. Okay, so anyway, so I fixed my glasses. But I wanted to tell you, the funny thing is I was wandering through the Hallmark store for so long. I think they were wondering, like, what is she doing? Like, they're like, oh, can I help you find something? I'm like, no, I'm just looking. And it really was. I just kind of leisurely meandered up and down every aisle. And I was looking at all the fun stuff, the cute stuff, the local stuff. The picture frames and the little sundries, all of the fun stuff. And I did grab, by the way, in case you are also a Hallmark ornament connoisseur type person, then I wanted to share with you that their 2025 Dream book is out. Hold on, my butt is buzzing at me. Okay. And so here is the new book, but this is what's interesting. So you got all the new ornaments, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. This is what they put in here. She's like, hey, because of the new tariffs, here's the new prices. So this is, I think I was mentioning this before, but anyway, so fun, right? The new catalog is out. And when I was there, the display was up. They were still putting in the ornaments and none of the inventory were put in there yet. So they were only hanging them. So anyway, if you love Hallmark ornaments like I do, we've been collecting them forever when my mom and like everybody, my mom, my grandmom, they would get ornaments for each of us, for our kids. Even when we were pregnant, they would get ornaments for the kids and we would label the boxes. And now each of my kids have their own bins filled with the ornaments. So anyway, I'm excited about that. I don't know, Kim, I don't know why I clicked on your laughing thing, but anyway, so yes, so let's see what you guys are saying. Oh, Julia, hello from Texas. Let's see, what else do we have? Pam says she worked for Hallmark 3 years ago. There's just not as many Hallmark stores in our area in and around Orlando. Like the only one that I'm aware of, unless there's others, let me know, is in like the Hunters Creek area, which is which is the one I'm referencing. Okay, Amy, mouth, wake up, la la la. I need to do vocal exercises before we start. Okay, anyway, Washington Square, Lisa. Lisa, you are correct. Washington Square. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. All right, I'm going to get going. Let's get to our topics. Da, 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 da. Pam says, as an employee, I would spend way too much of my paycheck in there. I could see that happening. That would be a me thing. And Amy, I used to love Hallmark Store, but we do not have them anymore. And then Tracy says, what paycheck? That's hysterical. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's get going with our coffee brewing topics for the day, shall we? Okay, I don't know. Here we go. I don't know why I went to the other one, but that's okay. All right, so here are our brewing topics for today. 4th of July, obviously, we just had a big Independence Day celebration for those of us here in the USA. Also, our topic is going to be pre-approvals and employment, how those things work, things you may not be aware of that might help you as you are planning to potentially move, buy a home, whether it's again Florida. These are just basic facts, folks. And then of course 6 months tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm not going to even reference it yet because I'm going to try to keep my composure, friends. All right, so 4th of July. So those of you that are here in the U.S., you know we had our big 4th of July, our Independence Day celebration. And honestly, we did a cookout, and we had some burgers and some hot dogs and some pasta salad and some chips. The most thing, Easton had some fun playing in a little splash pad. Got some pictures of that as well. But what did you all do? I know we asked last week kind of what you were planning on doing. As it turns out, how did it work out for you? Did you have that fun get together, that celebration? Did you go to your friend's house? Did you go see fireworks? Was it just another day of work in the life for you? I know that for us, it was nice that it landed on a Friday, as I think that helped. Was it on a Friday? Was it on a Friday? Guys, my brain, I literally need to live with just a calendar sitting right here. But it was nice that it was kind of throughout the weekend, that it was kind of a nice longer celebration. So a lot of people got to have some extra time off. So that makes me happy for those people that got to enjoy that. But yeah, so tell me what you did. Elizabeth says we watched the hot dog eating contest and some swimming. So, that was something that we we would watch the hot dog eating contest all the time. That was kind of fun, right? Joey Chestnut. And watching that every year, it was just funny. Eric absolutely adored the guy who was the MC, and I don't know his name, so my apologies. But Eric just adored him. He's just class act the whole way. He just so committed to the introduction of the contestants. And that was his kind of person, his kind of performer. So sorry we didn't get to see that this time. And I'm glad Elizabeth did. I don't know if it's the same one, Elizabeth, but it was kind of gross. Like none of us really enjoyed watching people shovel them in their mouth. I do remember a time where Dawson wanted us to create a hot dog eating contest for him. That was fun. Didn't work out the same way, but anyway, that was just kind of a fun little thing. It's just kind of a fun little tradition. I did see, and I wanted to pop over to Pam. Pam, you said, and I saw this on Facebook, guys. I was going to comment on it, but John and I went to say goodbye to Tom Sawyer's Island and the Steamboat. Very sad that it's leaving the Magic Kingdom. I have to tell you, that is so sad. One of our favorite so sorry. One of our favorite places when we would take our kids before we moved to Florida, when Eric and I would take our kids, our little young family, to Disney. Like I said, that was kind of the way we measured time as a family. We went there quite a bit. I mean, quite a bit for us. Now, for some of you who were there all the time, it probably wasn't nearly enough trips. But we went there, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times throughout the time that our kids were little. And one of our favorite things was Tom Sawyer's Island. And answer this too, because Pam, I'm not sure if this is still there. Is Polly's Dockside Inn or Polly's Dockside, that little restaurant you used to get? Again, it's been a long time, guys. But you used to get, and this is why we loved it. You would go, you would sit, it was quiet. No one even knew it existed, right? It was tucked back in there, and you could get little kids peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like little kids lunch kits. Little PBJ. I think it had like little grapes and I don't know, like little carrot sticks or chips or something. But you could sit outside. Of course, all the pigeons were around and things like that, but you could see the little river and you could see the steamboat going by. It was just a really quaint place, and not a lot of people knew that it existed. So it was one of those things that we felt like as a family, we were kind of in on a little hidden gem there. But I'm wondering if that's still there. So if you know if it's still there, let me know, because I didn't think to check on it until like literally just now when we were talking about that. So let's see. Sydney says that we went to the bestie of 46 years mother's house. Family was in town, barbecued, reminiscing and eating. I mean, come on, what's better than that, right? It is our dream. My family watched the hot dog eating contest, and I turned my head and cleaned up the kitchen. I know, that's so true. Daryl, we had a guest over at the house. She has golden hair. I I know what you're talking about. That's hysterical. I need more info on that. Let's see. Julia, kids are older. I sat in the recliner and rested. It was marvelous. Oh, you guys are making me laugh on a day I need to be laughing, so thank you. Obviously, Lori, not a holiday over here in Germany, but we went to the American diner and enjoyed hamburgers in celebration of the 4th. There you go. That's a way to keep it up. That's fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and then Pam says, I'm assuming Polly, there was sign there, but no, there was no food or anything. But of course, it was the last day. That's just so sad. That's just so sad. And John said he only saw vending machines. Ugh. Well, I mean, here's the thing, everything has to change a little bit. Everything kind of has to move on if they're making ways for new things or things that weren't working. Or like I said, it was kind of a tucked away little treat. Most people didn't even know it existed. I don't say most people, but a lot of people didn't know that it existed because you're so caught up in the main thoroughfare of where you are at Disney that you might not have wandered off into those little side nuggets, right? Those great little places to kind of sit, and the little playground that was back in there on Tom Sawyer's Island. And anyway, it was fun, but it was definitely one of our little places that we would go. And I think we have pictures. I'll have to find them, pull out our old Disney albums and show you some of those pictures from Polly's Dockside Retreat. Dockside Inn? I don't know. Dockside something. Anyway, all right. So 4th of July. So on that note, let me show you our cup because I believe it has a couple of the 4th of July pictures. All right, so we had a couple little pictures. So little Miss Elsie is swimming with her dad Steele in the pool there at the house. They are enjoying. If you really could zoom in, I love Elsie's face on that. By the way, there's another picture of Elsie I'm going to show you in a minute that it is an absolute treasure. I think I'm going to blow that thing up, and it's not what you expect, but it's so stinking adorable. And there's little Easton. He was sitting there. He has on his little bathing suit. He's got on his little swimmer shirt. He's got on his ball cap to keep out the sun. He is sitting there resting and being very patient, waiting for the meal and then the play in the splash pad. He had so much fun with that little splash pad that his Uncle Forrest got for him. It was just really cute. They had a lot of fun out there splashing around, getting some fun in the sun. But I love it. Elsie looks like she's learning to swim in that one. But yeah, I mean, again, things look very different now. Every holiday, they always say that, there's the year of firsts, right? So that's where we are. We're in the year of everything being different. Dawson actually went with some friends. His friend's family has a place on the beach. And so they went and enjoyed a few days there, just to kind of escape a little bit and have some fun with some friends. We were here. It was a small but really nice kind of quiet celebration. Probably, again, not the way it would have been had we had our different background behind us and we had the big pool. But here's the thing, new families enjoying that now, so it's theirs to enjoy. So that makes me happy. Anyway, but yeah, so those are the cute pictures of the babies. Let's go on to our second brewing topic, which is pre-approval unemployment. Okay, so this is a little bit of real estate talk here. This is important because this comes up in conversations sometimes. When you are specifically a first-time home buyer, you're not going to know some of these things, and that's completely okay. If you are maybe a repeat homeowner, but maybe you just, it hasn't been something that you've been a part of. Again, for instance, when Eric and I were first married, our first townhome, I don't even remember how we did that. Like, I'm sure Eric just, he just took charge and got all the the mortgage filled out. Like, I don't remember. Then we bought our house. Same thing. Eric did it. We bought our first house here in Florida. Eric took care of it. Even our second house in Florida, Eric kind of took care of all of the mortgage and the loan application and all of that information. So I didn't have to get into the private portal, secure links, and upload all those documents. That was part of Eric's, what Eric did. Now, there are some things that I do know. Like, for instance, it's important to know that if you are trying to get a mortgage and you have a two-person income and you need the two-person income to qualify and be approved for the mortgage of the amount that you need or want to get you the house that you need or want, then you both have to have employment in place in the area that you're moving to. Okay, so follow me on this. If I'm moving from Winter Garden to Winter Garden, I'm just moving down the street, I'm keeping my same job, or even if I'm moving 30 minutes away. If my job is intact, my employment is the same, then you're good to go. But if you are moving out of state and your job is not remote, then you need to have employment in place where you're going. Unfortunately, it's not a situation where you can say, oh, well, my husband's job is remote, so he can work from anywhere, which, by the way, lovely, love that idea. His job is remote. He can work from anywhere. However, I work for this company and I'm looking for a place that's similar. And I'm sure I can get a job when I get there. I'm sure you can too. No doubt on that. I believe you. I trust you. This has nothing to do with me. But the bank is going to say, prove it. Show me the job. Show me your employment letter. Show me pay stubs from this new job so that we know that you do indeed have a job lined up. What is that salary going to be? How is that going to work so that we can approve you for this mortgage? If you do not have it set up prior to, then you're not going to be able to be considered on that loan application. And if your husband or your wife or whoever the primary kind of is in your family, if you happen to be one where this spouse makes more money than this spouse, and this spouse is really the one that kind of fronts the family and works and pays for everything. If that person is the job that's remote, fantastic, no worries. Then everything can continue on as normal. But if you really do need both of those incomes, you need to find and secure your employment before you start doing the pre-approval. Otherwise, it's not as simple as just saying, oh, I'll get a job when I get there. Well, the mortgage company might believe you, but they don't really care. They need to confirm that you do indeed have employment in place that is going to support their pre-approval to help with that approval amount. So think about that as you are considering your new home purchase. Again, if you're staying employed with the same company and you have that luxury of either working remotely or you're not moving very far, and so that's irrelevant, that's not even a consideration, then you're fine. But if you are moving somewhere else significantly and your job is going to change, then you need to have a job established where that is. So just keep that in mind, because there's a lot of people that don't know that. Like, a lot of people don't know that. They just think, oh, this is what I make now, and so I'll be able to make that or find something similar, maybe even better, when I get to where I'm going. And again, I wish you the best, but we have to have that in place first. So again, all of these are good conversations with your lender. Full transparency, I am not a mortgage professional. I do not do loan approvals, but this is just some information that I do know from my experience in real estate and working with clients who need to get their pre-approvals, making sure that your employment is placed. Okay, so anyway, what's popping over here? Fred joined us. Good morning, Fred. Allie, I love it. Allie is hoping you're all having a swell morning, folks. Don't forget to like the stream and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a post. Very good. Elizabeth, on walk with Elsie, and it looks like it's peacock shedding season. Oh, lots of pretty tail feathers along the sidewalk and yards. Oh, that's so cool. Elizabeth, you need to get pictures of that. So I don't know if you remember, but Elizabeth gave us some peacock pictures before, because where she is, there's just peacocks everywhere. Not something you would typically expect to see in Florida, but there's lots and lots and lots of communities that have them. Tracy, we recently had to also prove that my husband really was approved for remote work from his company with a mortgage. Yes, ma'am. Tracy, thank you. That popped into my head when I was spouting it out here. Yes, if you do have that luxury of being able to work remote, there is proof that will be, excuse me, required by the employer, noting that yes, you are allowed to work remotely. So don't be surprised if you have additional proof or documentation or supporting documents that they're going to need to indicate that you are allowed to work remotely. Very good point, Tracy. Thank you for joining, for sharing that with us. That's absolutely true. Okay, so let's move on then to our brewing topic number 3. So I don't have, I left my tissues somewhere else. Well, so that just means I'm not going to be able to cry. So I don't even want to click to number 3 yet, but number 3 is that tomorrow will be the 6-month, I don't want to say anniversary because that sounds like it's a positive thing, and it's not, but it's the 6-month date since when Eric passed. So he passed away on January 8th. It will be July 8th, and so it's just one of those things. Now, time feels very different now. It goes very fast and very slow. It seems like it didn't happen, yet it has crushed my world. It is every element of everything in between. And I know some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because I do get those sweet private messages from so many of you. Just constant little moments of support, and I appreciate that. But so even though it's 6 months, it's not a year, right? I am planning on doing something big for the 1 year because we didn't do anything outside of immediate family. And Daryl and Jen, Javon and Jazzy are our family. And they were with us. In fact, we couldn't have done it without them. But the 1 year will be something bigger where we are able to give an advance notice, let people know. Honestly, it was just so much, so fast, so many emotions at the time that we didn't do anything other than what we did for us, what we needed as a family. But I want to give Eric and all of his friends and other family and acquaintances and people that loved and supported him an opportunity to do something, share something, say something, or just be there to support. So that'll be in January. So January will be a year. But right now we're hitting 6 months. And I know for some people, like, it's 6 months, Amy. Like, come on, it's 6 months. Like, you don't need to, worry about that it's 6 months. But it does feel like it's half a year that I've been without him completely. But longer than that, when things were starting to turn. And anyway, so we put together a little something. By the way, we did not go as all out on Eric as I had thought. Candidly, it was a lot of work and a lot of emotion kind of kept coming back to the surface as we were looking for things to share with you, pictures to share, stories to share. But Allie did a great job in finding this clip, and I think it's probably the most important one. So many of you knew Eric specifically through, hold on, let me see if I can find, I'm afraid to push the button because if we get disconnected, it's going to be bad. But most of you know him through breaking news, right? You know him through our, my sidekick. I was probably his sidekick. Through all of the videos and the things that we did real estate wise here on Coffee Time. He made it so that you didn't have to listen to me drone on and on and on for an hour. I know he was a great interruption at times in the most positive of ways. He really enjoyed all of that. But Allie put together just a really, 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 really quick little thing. And we can talk about that afterwards, and we can kind of share maybe some other little stories with him. But let's go ahead and go to our little 6-month part of our Coffee Time brewing topics. You'll probably be able to recognize Eric, but he's the really cute, good-looking guy that's singing.
Living on sponge cake, watching the sun beat. All of this tourists covered with oil. Scrubbing my 6-string on my porch swing. Smell those shrimp, they're beginning to boil.
gosh. So you can see why that was a good one. That's appropriate for our Florida life. Um, in fact, it's funny because every time I hear that, I think of our old neighbors, Jordan and Renee. We used to go hear them play, and they would always sing that one too. But that was, gosh, Daryl, you might have to help me with this. I don't know what year that was at King's Dominion, but that's how Eric and I met, was performing. He was in college at the time, so I'm going to guess, depending on the year, he was anywhere from 19, 20, 21, right around that time frame. 18 maybe, I don't know, maybe even 18. No, I don't know. Anyway, he was young, and that was the fool, as Eric, or as Daryl would say, the fool that I fell in love with. Now, Susan, the Clovis story. I'm actually trying to find a better. See, guys, here's the thing. Back when we performed, we didn't have cell phones. You couldn't record all of this really high tech, beautiful quality stuff. This kind of creepy dude, used to have to come to the theater and take pictures of everybody so that you would have pictures and proof that you ever even performed on the stage. My mom would come and she would videotape. But these are all those old VHS camera things, and all of the videos we have are just, the quality is not great. But thankfully Eric did put them on DVD or CD, whatever. But a lot of these videos we have uploaded to our Facebook so that we could at least treasure them there. But I'm in the process of reaching out to a lot of the people that we perform with, just to see who has maybe some other ones, a better one, because I really fell in love with this character named Clovis, who was this big dorky country bumpkin guy, which is Eric, obviously, playing the role of Clovis, which was a fun country show theater that they had. Now, the interesting thing, and Daryl, just so you know, Daryl, I was going to cry again. Daggone it, Daryl, this one's your fault. I was going through trying to find some videos yesterday, and I found I cannot post it, but I found the funniest video of Eric and Daryl. I think they were in Iowa. They were getting ready to come back from a work trip. They worked together. Again, true story. Daryl and Jen moving here is how I got into real estate. Long story. We'll talk about it some other time. But I found this video, and that's what I was doing yesterday. So honestly, I was just emotionally spent. It was like, but at the same time, there was so much laughter. So many of those videos had me laughing. I was actually going back through, and I haven't done this honestly since he passed. I went back through his phone, through my phones, both of my phones, going back through some of the text messages to find out exactly like what day was it that he, not what day that he passed, but like what day did things start in August? Because as we hit the July 8th, 6 months since he passed, August is also the 1 year since it started. So it's kind of a double thing, right? He got sick. Something happened in August, and that kind of got us a little, I don't know, got us on the track of figuring out what the heck is wrong. And then January was when he passed. So everything kind of happened pretty fast. So we're still healing. But anyway, I have these fun videos of him, and I felt like it would be fun to share them. Now, I say I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So it's really Alyssa and figuring out a way that we can get some of these video clips. Because there's one that I really want you guys to hear, and it's with Daryl. Daryl, I watched it so many times. I always tell both Eric and Daryl that anytime I hear "Taking It to the Streets," I only think of them, and I'm doing their choreography in my head. Like, it is such an imprinted visual in my brain. Eric and Daryl were the only two male performers in that particular show called Summer Rhythms, and there were some really great vocals in there. Conversely, I did find an old pop show that Eric was in that was absolutely tragic. Daryl, I think you were in it too. You guys were obviously great, but the show itself was not great. Anyway, all right, so that was a little bit about Eric, but that was a pop show. Now, what's really sad is that they don't have those theaters anymore. I think they still have what we call the Mason-Dixon Music Hall, which I think became the Paramount Theater. I don't even know if that still exists at King's Dominion, by the way, is what we're talking about. And but there used to be called the Woodlands Theater, which was a pop show theater. They had that for a while. I don't know that that exists. I know that the Country Show Theater, which is where Eric first performed, I knew they ripped that one down because they put a ride there in its place. There used to be a place called Livingston's, which is an inside little theater with a restaurant. I'm sure, I don't know. I have to go back to King's Dominion and see what it looks like now. But it was a really, really, really wonderful time when we were all there performing. Met some of the most amazing people. By the way, in that clip, and you know what? I'm probably going to play it again because there's a part where I want you to look at the three men standing on stage, and I have to tell you that Eric was super famous in my heart, but the other two guys, legit famous people. I won't tell you who they are now because I don't want anybody to get all crazy. But pretty famous. So you want to see it again? Tell me if you want to see it again. You want to see Eric sing again? I do. So y'all are going to have to go with me. We're just going to watch Eric sing again. Ready? Let's do it.
Living on sponge cake, watching the sun beat. All of this tourists covered with on. Scrubbing my six string on my front porch swing. Smell those shrimp, they're beginning to boil.
We stayed away to get Margaritaville,
Oh yeah.
searching for my heart on shaker and salt.
Yes, and some people claim that there's a world underlay, but I know it's nobody's fault.
Yay. Okay, so I just had to watch it again. That's what happens. That's where I go into this abyss of old videos. While that was happening, Sandy, Tutu we call her, she texted me, "Oh my God, watching the tribute to Eric. We watched both of you at Katie so many times, over and over and over again." Remember that show? Yeah. So Sandy, like a second mother to me. She and my mom are like best buds. She danced at the studio with us, very much a staple in my life all during that time. And so when I was performing and Eric was performing, they would come up so many times on the weekends and just sit and watch all the shows like all day long. We would usually have 4 or 5 shows a day, I guess, depending on the day. And again, entertainment was such a huge part of their budget that's why that era of entertainment and theme parks, Disney aside, okay, Disney aside, for the other secondary parks, was such a huge budget for them, and they did a great job. And then all of a sudden, as things do, things become more corporate, and they put more emphasis on rides as opposed to live entertainment. And so things just kind of changed. Quality of everything went down. The caliber of thing went down. If you look back, like it's absolutely incredible how many people you can see in the videos that we performed with. You don't know who they are, but I can tell you this person is the creative director to Cirque du Soleil. This person is a casting director. This person is a star who's worked with Tom Hanks, who was the lead in a Broadway musical and who is in a very well-known TV show. Like there's so many people that have gone on to do these amazing, amazing, amazing things. So, sometimes you can go see something at a local theme park and you're like, well, that's like, it's kind of like talented high school kids. Like, no, these people were like seriously, seriously good. I mean, our own Daryl was like big in Vegas, body and soul of Las Vegas. So come on, like there's people with some serious talent. Who I didn't tell on you, Daryl. Anyway, all right. So Daryl says, "Gang, Eric and I played on the Katy softball team." Yes, I do remember that. I still clearly remember during the game, Eric whispered to me, "Amy is hot." Oh, I didn't know that. Not sweet. That's very sweet. I didn't know that was a new story. Okay, great. I'm gonna start crying again. Anyway, so I just wanted to thank you for sharing that little bit and indulging me as I shared that with you. I'm going to, Allie, we're all going to try to give you some little more Eric tidbits. As we were going through that, you guys are so funny. Yes, I remember Chicken Wars, all of those funny, goofy things that Eric did. And here's the thing, he was like that. That was him, real life. As many times as I cry because I miss him, I laugh because he made me laugh so much. And he was really so stinking funny, just so quick-witted and goofy, and sometimes to the point where I'm like, could you stop? Like, not everything has to have a punchline. Not everything has to get a laugh. Like, truly, sometimes I'm like, dude, like, it's not all funny. But at any rate, so as we move on to our other real estate like topics, just a quick reminder, anybody that wants to have some Taco Bell, if you recall when Eric was in hospice, his last thing that he wanted, he took orders for everyone to have Taco Bell. Yes, I know, Taco Bell. But so if you happen to find yourself driving past a Taco Bell or craving a taco or something like that, maybe go have a little taco and have a little, a little toast to Eric. Yeah, that would be cool. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm going to get back to some topics. So let's go to, I'm going to go to Scoop. I'm going to go to Scoop. All right, so back to real estate topics, folks. So Avalon Woods, the new Dream Finders community there off of Avalon Road in Horizon West in Winter Garden is... They're going to be opening and starting some official information and some maybe even some pre-sales here coming up in the month of August. So we referenced it a while back and told you that it was coming. The signs have been there. If you don't know where it is, let's discuss. So it is in the Hamlin Village of Horizon West. So instead of going further down Avalon, pushing toward Earlo Bronson, toward the Ovation Village, instead of in that direction, we're kind of heading back up to where the Hamlin area is. So for those of you that do know the area, if you're traveling down 429, you're going to take that new Independence Parkway exit. And we all know that that dumps you out right in the middle of, guys, hold on. You're going to be so freaking excited. New Independence takes you right into Hamlin. I had them. Allie got me all set up. So now we have all of them. So again, let's do it, right? So New Independence Parkway off of 429 is going to take you to Hamlin. So in that area is where Avalon Woods is going to be. You would get off of I guess I can't really tell you if you go right or left because it depends on which direction you're going. But right there where Wincy Groves is, that New Independence Parkway is going to go straight through. It's going to get you connected to Claremont. But if you were to take a right there, a little bit further down is going to be Avalon Woods. So I have a client actually who is already looking and thinking about that. But we've been working together for quite a while. Was originally thinking maybe out in Mineola. But is really got her eye on this Avalon Woods community. So it will have most of their typical floor plans. If you're familiar with Dream Finders, it'll have their Avalon, their Tidewater, their Anna Maria. There's some amazing floor plans. Again, one of my favorite builders when it comes to single story homes with multiple versions of bonus rooms and second floor options. So hopefully that's exciting. And you can, you can go take a look at that community. Give me a call and let me know so I can make sure we get you in touch with the right person. And as always, I guess I need to go back this way. Just, because Eric would want me to put this on there every once in a while. Don't forget that I'm always here to help. So call or text at 407-848-8042. Anyway, so moving on. Sorry. It sounds so much worse than it is. I promise. All right. I think, honestly, there's only one other thing I want to go through, which is Word.
Now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
All right, the word today is capital contribution and what that means. And this is really, 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 really important. So everyone listen to me here. Even if you're a realtor, listen to me. Because I learned this the hard way. And honestly, I just didn't feel like fighting with the guy anymore. So I just changed the way I do things. So capital contribution fee. This is a one-time fee. If you are purchasing into a community with an HOA, HOA, homeowner association. If you have a homeowner association in the community that you're moving into, and again, here almost everything is going to have an HOA, when you first purchase that home, there is likely going to be a capital contribution fee that is charged in addition to other elements of your closing costs. And that is a one-time fee. It is not part of your monthly HOA dues. So if your HOA dues are $200 a month, your capital contribution is going to be a larger lump sum, but it's a one-time lump sum. Think of it like an initiation fee. Everyone is required to pay this when they come into the community, whether it's new construction or whether you're purchasing it as resale. And I remember the first community that we moved into. I remember it was a small 66 home community, so it wasn't very large. But I remember the HOA talking about, hey, we're, as of set date, we're going to start charging a $600 capital contribution fee for anyone that purchases a home in the community. Because at that point, it was new when we all built, right? But a few years later is when people start to move out. Life changes, things move on. So that's what they did. So we added that in there. So I put every single time, capital contribution fees can vary. It depends on the HOA. It depends on the community. You should be able to find that out. The homeowner might even know. But most times you don't know that stuff. That stuff comes out in all of the title work and the estoppel, all of that stuff that's being done behind the scenes with the title company in preparation for closing once a contract is in place. However, there is an HOA disclosure that is required for the buyers, for the sellers to provide and for the buyers to sign. In that HOA disclosure, it is going to state what is the name of the property management group, or the HOA group rather. What is the monthly fee? Is it monthly? Is it biannually? Is it annually? Because again, some people quarterly, some people pay differently. And now there is an additional spot later on in that document. And every single time now, without fail, I put estimated EST $500 capital contribution one-time fee to the HOA. And the reason I do that is because, first of all, no other realtor discloses this, right? They just don't. It's not something that we ever have to put on there. But there's this one guy, and you could either think he was a really great realtor, or you could think he was just a real piece of work. And I tend to think he was a real piece of work, because I'm sure that in all of his HOA disclosures, he never put the one-time capital contribution fee in there. That comes from the HOA. That's not something that the seller or the homeowner even typically knows. But regardless, I always feel like it should be my responsibility. So he said, well, we shouldn't pay for that because it wasn't disclosed. I was like, okay, so I get it. But so I paid the capital contribution for that person's buyer one time only, because I was like, well, I guess I should be putting that on the HOA disclosure now. So to your point, make sure that everybody understands that when you buy in a new home, it doesn't have to be new construction, but a new home, whether it is in new construction or if it is resale, you are likely going to see on your closing costs through the HOA a one-time capital contribution fee. And ultimately what you are doing, think of that as an initiation fee, and that is going to help them put that to kind of the capital to help for some of those bigger projects that will be coming down the line. Everyone is required to pay it, but it is only one time. Got it? Quizzing you later. Okay. All right, guys, let's move on then. And I think, honestly, I'm going to go into my listings because that's what we have so much to talk about. Okay, so we're doing our listing spotlight today. Today we are listing 14925 LeBeau Loop. This is in Winding Bay in Horizon West. This home is beautiful. It is a one-story floor plan. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a little over 2,100 square feet. It does have a fenced-in yard. There's no rear neighbor. It does back up. There's a wall that the community has built, and then Avalon Road is back behind it. Just a few minutes, like 10 minutes from the actual gates, arches at Disney. They've got some beautiful shiplap feature wall, and they're also doing a $15,000, yeah, you heard me right, $15,000 closing cost contribution to a buyer. Remember, we had a long discussion last week about some of the things that sellers need to do to get their mindset correct when it comes to how are we competing with what's going on. The problem is there's too much inventory and not enough buyers. That's the problem right now. Too much inventory, not enough buyers. Market slows down. There could be outside influences. It's making everything slow down. Whatever that storm is that's happening, we're limited with who the buyers are. The buyers that are out there have many more options. And the buyers that are out there, because they have many more options, are going to have more support and more help when it comes to things like closing costs or price reductions. But remember, as we discussed, closing cost contribution is going to be financially more beneficial to that buyer because that's real money that they don't have to go to closing. Whereas if you just took that $10,000 or $15,000 off of the mortgage, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that much money. But cash to bring to closing, definitely worth it. So this is our spotlight listing. We are anxious trying to get this one under contract, folks. So send this one to some friends if you've got anybody that's looking to live here in the Horizon West area. This again is it's Rockwell was the builder on this home in Winding Bay. Beautiful, beautiful. It's off of Avalon Road. Also very close to Waterley, is just down the street. And I mention that because that's where that Publix is. That's where all of the fun stuff is. You're super, super, super close to everything. Honestly, that's a great location because you can also go the other direction, and then you're going to hit Flamingo Crossing. So lots of stuff there. That's a great home. So let me know if you're interested in that one. As far as some of the other listings, again, that first one is the one that we just referenced, the one on LeBeau Loop. We have the one that is under contract now out in Davenport with the pool. That is one that we've referenced it before. It is zoned in a short-term rental community, but it does not mean that you need to use it as a short-term rental. You can use it as an investment. You can Airbnb, or you could do like my clients did, where they just used it as their own private vacation home. Either way, it's a great one, and it's under contract, getting ready to close early August. So we're excited about that one. Also, there is a beautiful corner home site for a cleared-in floor plan with D.R. Horton over in Waterley with the balcony elevation. Love, love, love that one. Offering a $10,000 closing cost contribution. Again, this is where I think our conversation last week on Coffee Time really started to resonate with a lot of people. So when we went back and did the state of the listing, we were able to get quite a few to consider making that type of a change and see if it does anything to the listing and gives it a little bit more energy or tickles it a little bit. We still have that beautiful Winter Garden 1-story, the Ashby floor plan by Pulte, excuse me, in the Estates at Lakeview Preserve. Out in Kissimmee. All right, I got to drink something because it's just like it's rattling around there. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. The one in Kindred, also offering a closing cost contribution. Again, large home site, 3-car garage, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. We have one in Groveland, this beautiful one in Groveland in Cypress Oaks, also now offering a closing cost contribution, trying to help out these buyers and entice them to come give us a shot any way that we can. Then we also have page 2. Look at all of these listings, people. Davenport 2-story, beautiful home, really nice opportunity out in that area. Then we have 2 different villas in 55 plus communities. We have the Del Webb Villa, which is in Oasis, which is in the Ovation Village there in Horizon West. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, the gorgeous upgrades that they did. And when I say upgrades, guys, I refer to after the fact. When you buy a home and you add these beautiful upgrades, that's fine. And we can talk about those and we can add those in descriptions in the listing. But when someone has done something after the fact and they put marble floors in there and they've done custom closets and everything. Beautiful, beautiful villa. There's also the bottom left-hand corner, 55 plus in Kissimmee is in the beautiful K Hovnanian community of Four Seasons. Big, 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 beautiful community out there, very close to Disney. I have lots of clients that have purchased in both of those 55 plus communities. And I will tell you, in so many cases, because they are gated, yes, even the one Del Webb Oasis, even though Horizon West is not permitted to be gated based on the entire makeup of the area, the master planned aspect of it, 55 plus communities do get a little bit of a waiver there. But in both cases, they are great spots if you were looking for a primary residence, or if you are looking for your private vacation home, the snowbird situation, right? Lots of people tend to buy these homes and then come and live in them for like 6-7 months out of the year, but then they've got a great place that they can come back to. So both 55 plus villas. We also have the Silverleaf Bungalow. This one is actually Meritage Homes. It is brand spanking new Meritage, and I go back a long way, and they gave me this listing. So just trying to help them out a little bit, give them a little bit more exposure. So a beautiful 2-story bungalow floor plan, really, really beautiful. If you're interested in that one, let me know. They're also offering a closing cost contribution, and The beauty of that new Silverleaf bungalow upper right hand corner is that because it is being offered through Meritage the builder, it comes with all of those fun frills like the warranty, the 1 to 10, 1 year everything, 2 year behind the wall HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, and then 10-year structural. And if you use their preferred lender, you're also getting closing cost contribution. So if you're a buyer agent out there, give me a call. If you're a buyer out there, give me a call. If you're just interested, you want to share it, give me a call. I'll get you all set up on that one. And then, of course, we had our featured listing that we had last week, which is the end unit Hawksmoor Townhome, also in Horizon West, now also offering a $10,000 closing cost contribution. So we are hoping and we are praying that some of these new incentives are going to help make these listings a little bit more desirable. If this is something that you would like to do yourself, maybe you're trying to sell a home in another state. The funny thing is the number of messages, phone calls, text messages I get from people who are not my clients, but live in other areas that are like, hey, I was just wondering, could you like take a look at our listing and see like, should we do something else? And I have to remind people, I'm not their agent, so I can't really do that. But there's things like this. That's why we have this platform, right? You can learn some information from here. If doing a closing cost contribution is something that might work, it's at least another marketing strategy. You have to try different things and see if something bites, right? If you're fishing and there's fish aren't biting, that's kind of where we are. You're fishing and the fish aren't biting. There's only a few fish out there, and the ones that are out there aren't biting. But maybe if you put the right bait, maybe somebody will come along and go, oh, wait, oh, I love this. This is fantastic. Where was this one the whole time? And we're like, well, we were here waiting for you. At any rate, okay, so good stuff going on today. And I think that is probably almost it. Allie, if you can think of anything specifically that I may have missed, let me know. Otherwise, I think, as usual, it's been about an hour. So do you want to watch that one of Eric one more time? Do you? Do you? I know I do. You want to do it? We'll do it one more time, and then we're going to say goodbye. Okay, we'll do that one more time. One more time.
Living on sponge cake, watching the sun fade. Although there's tourists covered with on, strumming my six string on my porch swing. Smell those shrimp, they're beginning to boil.
Wasting away again, Margaritaville.
Oh yeah,
Searching for my idol, shaker and song.
yes and some people claim that there's a world under blame, but I know it's nobody's fault.
Yeah, that time I didn't cry. That time it made me smile. So that is the Eric that I fell in love with. I can't wait to show you the goofy Clovis character. I'm going to try really hard to find you a good copy of that video and let you hear him perform Cheeseburger in Paradise, my friends. That was it. Woo! Miss Amy was swooning at that point. Yeah, I know. Weird, right? But I'll try to find Clovis. There's some of him and Daryl. And Daryl, if you're still here, anybody that's got these videos, I'm really going to try to see what we can find floating out there. I know we grabbed some for the reunions that we've done over the past, but I just don't know where Eric put all that stuff. So we're still kind of digging and trying to find it. But I just want to share with you, not just the Eric that you knew, not this adult grown man, real estate related, sidekick chicken wars dude, but the really amazingly talented person who stole my heart, being Clovis. And Susan, I know you liked him too when he was doing Clovis, and good thing I didn't know that at the time, sister. We may not have been friends, but anyway. All right, guys, much love to you guys as always. As remember, please call me, give me a text if you need to, 407-848-8042. As always, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and I really appreciate you being here and sharing everything with me. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.